There we go. All right, so welcome everybody. My name's Janene Babauskis and I'm a Diamond Rank with a SEA, and today is Tuesday, the 10th of April. So welcome to the Shine Bright Team Training Meeting, where our growing ASEA family gathers to learn and develop our skills in furthering the mission of ASEA. And that's to help hundreds of thousands of people around the world to live a healthier life while achieving their own personal and financial aspirations and dreams. So many healthcare professionals are calling ASEA products the greatest scientific breakthrough in health science, anti-aging, and athletic performance of our lifetime. They are saying this science discovery is as big as the discovery of penicillin and DNA. So the intention of this call is to support you to gain the maximum benefit from using your ASEA products, but also to empower you in your business and personal development to share this extraordinary technology with the people in your life. So making a living while making a difference. I'll just ask you to mute for those of you who aren't muted. If you could do that now so we just don't get any interference, that would be great. Maybe I will need to come on and do that. So mute. Looks like everybody's muted. Thank you for that. Okay, so we ask for your cooperation not to record this call and not to distribute it to mass media or social media sites, so no Facebook or Twitter, etc. please. The call is recorded, and the team support website, theshinebright.com, it will be posted to there. Sorry, the team Facebook community support website, the Shine Bright team. We encourage you to invite all your associates to this call, but it is not intended for the general public. So I've just got a couple of announcements to make. So on Saturday, this Saturday, 1 p.m, so that's the 14th, we have the professional event. It's a live event, but we also have online. So I'm just going to post in the chat box the details for you to be able to access that. So this is a fantastic opportunity. If you know people that are health professionals, this is definitely an event that you want to make sure they know about. We'll have Dr. Rob Ward there also on Zoom sharing his wisdom, and he'll be there for people to ask questions. So those who are in Adelaide, or if you know people in Adelaide, you want to get this information to them. And let me just find the chat box and I'll just post this link. So you can copy and paste that link and you can click on that. It'll take you straight to Eventbrite, and you can book on there direct, book your place, and also just find out about how you get to view it online. So if you can't be there live, because we're not flying to Adelaide, you've got an opportunity to watch it live at the same time. Now, for those of you who are in Melbourne, or if you know people in Melbourne, we also have an event on Monday the 16th. It's a 6:45 start to 9 p.m. and that is a redox discovery event with Dan Doyle. So for those of you who have heard Dan's story, I can listen to him tell his story over and over again. I mean, his health, what he achieved in his health and well-being with the redox, and then his financial well-being story. It's a fabulous story, and you definitely want to be there to hear it, or have your guests there. So you would need to go on to the Shine Bright Team Events Facebook group, and you'll actually find that event there, and you'll be able to click on that and book in. All right, we've still got a little bit of noise going on here. Just manage participants. Right. So just a minute, I just want everybody to be muted when they come on more. Except I can't find where to do that. Well, we'll just have to persevere with that. The window looks very different. We've got quite a few on. If for some reason you want to move around or you want to eat your dinner, just turn off your video because it's just really distracting while you're eating or moving. So, yeah, it's great. Sally Diamond used to say, this is the only business you can build while you're in your pajamas, because you can turn off your video and you can just listen. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, so let's get on with the training. And tonight, our training is called Go for No. There we go. So an interesting topic for me because I became very aware many years ago when no was getting in the way and stopping me. And I've got to tell you, it doesn't go away. The only thing you can do is be aware of it and not let the no stop you. So don't think it disappears. It doesn't, because that's part of being a human being. So this book, it's by Richard Fenton and Andrea Walsh, and it's a fairly quick read, 2 hours if you're a fast reader. If you're like me, it took me about 4 hours, but I just downloaded it as a Kindle, and it was around $6. So this book, it's actually about no as a path to your success rather than limiting your success. So when Richard himself, the author, had an interesting lesson on going for no early in his career, he embraced what he learned. He made a declaration to himself and his wife, and it changed his future. So I just want to share some insights from that book tonight. See if I can get this out of the way. So success in this business begins when we actually learn to be with a no. Now, what's really interesting, when we were kids, we weren't stopped by a no. So how many of you have got small children out there? And if you haven't, it's probably, and if you have had small children, you'll remember how children will consistently ask for something. Mum, can I have this? No. But I really want it? No. But I want it now? No. Like, they are not stopped by a no. All right. I was even out with a friend recently, and her 11-year-old asked about 5 times if she could have a chocolate milkshake. Even though she got a no, she persisted. So what's really interesting is, where did that tenacity go? What happened to it? Well, at some point it disappeared, and it was replaced by a fear of rejection. Now, does it even make sense that 2 letters, N and O, would keep us from realizing our dreams and goals? Well, whether it makes sense or not, it is there for most of us. So human beings tiptoe through their whole life avoiding no's just to make it safely to death. Interesting, isn't it? Now, the word no is actually not what stops us. It's what we've made it mean that stops us. So what we're hearing is some flavour of, what will they think of me? Oh, I'm not good enough. I don't know enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good looking enough. You know, I'm not blah, blah enough. I'm just not enough. So, you know, you want to have a look right now as to where you've been avoiding no's, and if you think you're not, you probably need to go and have another look. So is what, that's Tracy's phone going off. So is what no is that what no really means? Does it really mean no? No. What they're saying is, it's not for me right now. So Richard, in his book, he refers to model 1, which is the common approach. And this is where yes and no are polar opposites. They're not connected at all. But you know what? We've all been trained in a yes-no world. Yes is good and no is bad. But here's model 2. This is the effective approach. And in order to get to the yes, you're going to have to encounter some no's. So there's just no question about that. In fact, you want to keep inviting until you get a no. And a good example of this is when you're looking at the enrollment packs. Where do we all start? We start at the bottom, right? Because we tend to relate to other people's spending through our own restrictions around our finances. But what if we put the enrollment pack in front of them and we get a no? I mean, that's great. We're doing our job. But most of you will even avoid a no by even suggesting to somebody at the enrollment pack. Because if that's a no, then you go down to the business pack. And if that's a no, then you go to the personal pack. But we don't do that. We start at the other end, right? And we never work up. So, you know, when you read the book, you'll see that Richard, one of the things about going for no, in our case, in our business, would be starting at the entrepreneurial pack and actually going for a no. Great, that's a no. Let's go to the next one. So that would be something really interesting for you guys to play with. Because we tend to steer people within our own spending constraints. So if you're not succeeding fast enough, you're not getting enough no's. You just can't have one without the other. So if you avoid no's, you're also going to avoid the yeses. So let's look at panning for gold just as a metaphor. So if you're panning for gold, how do you find it? Well, you have to sift through the dirt to reveal the gold. Everybody relates to that. And you know what? Everybody that you talk to, they actually have a piece of gold in them. It's just whether it's their time. And you and possibly them won't even know that unless you invite them to explore what you have to offer. And you want to adopt the mindset is, I have a gift to offer. Well, here's something interesting. Maybe you don't even have to worry about getting no's. When you invite people to a presentation or to send them a tool, people have three options. They can say yes, no, or something else. So what I invite you to do is keep a log of who you call each day and maybe do it over a month. And if you track people's responses to your invitation, do you know what? Most people will say yes or something else. People will even lie to you rather than say no, because most people can't be with a no, and at the same time, they don't want to give you a no. So it's all a game. So you just need to keep score so you know how your game playing is developing. So this is a good example of my favorite definition of fear, and that is false expectations appearing real. Right? You already will have a preconceived idea that possibly you're going to get a no before you even get on the phone. And yet people generally don't say no. If you do this exercise, you'll discover they don't say no. They'll say yes or something else. That's a relief, isn't it? Now, who notices that a no is already in the way before you even pick up the phone? Does the phone look really heavy? Some days that phone just looks too heavy. So imagine the gold miner giving up before he even got started or after that first pan of dirt. What about procrastination? How many of you notice you procrastinate? So for me, it looks like, oh, I better get those dishes done. Gosh, even the ironing's starting to look attractive. So you know what I'm talking about. You know, it could be a friend rings, and that is way more important than you sharing the molecules, because you know what? You can do that later. You can share the molecules later. So you all know what's there for you around procrastination. Connecting to your why. I mean, that's so important that you actually know, why are you sharing these molecules? Why is that important to you? And then why is that important to you? And I find this is an exercise not really useful to do on your own. You really need to do it with somebody else. But the whole point of a why and knowing your why is that's the thing that gets you out of bed in the morning. That's the thing that gets you on the phone even when you don't want to be on the phone, right? It's about being clear about your why you're sharing it. Now, the thing that really works for me is find yourself a testimonial that moves you. I mean, moves you to tears, and connect in with that story. And imagine what would life be like for that person or their family if someone had allowed the fear of rejection get in the way and stop them picking up the phone and sharing this breakthrough technology. So I really encourage you to keep your radar up for that testimonial that moves you to tears. You know, I have one. I can't even talk to you about it because I'll start crying. But you know what? I know that if the person who picked the phone up and spoke to them hadn't done that, I know that her life would look very different today, and not different in a good way. So you want to think about that, and think about every time that you're stopped to pick up the phone, whose life are you not contributing to? And you don't know who that person is. And we didn't even know when we picked the phone up to call that person that he had a really sick wife. We didn't know that. And, you know, it was life-changing for that family. So that really works for me. Okay, so hands up who's picked up the phone and you actually did get a no. Or who, you know, out of the guys out there, who asked someone out on a date and got a no, or maybe the women who asked someone on a date and got a no. Well, guess what? You're still here. You didn't die. Now, it may feel like you wanted to die, and that all goes back to your fear and rejection. So here's a censored version of meaning of fear, and that is forget everything and run. You could do that if you got a no. Or how about this for a reframe? Fortunately, everything is all right. So if you're on the phone and you got a no, guess what? Change your body language. Stand up, smile, and thumbs up, or do something that's actually going to change the messages that are going nuts in your body right now. And just know, and this is intellectually, just know that now you're one person closer to a yes. And keep going. Smile. Could it be that easy? Yes, it can. Did you know that smiling, even when you don't want to, reverses chemical physiology and produces happy hormones? Do you know they've done research with people who suffer depression and had them walk around with a pen in their mouth all day? Like this. Do you know that reversed their depression? Why? Because it was activating the muscles that we use when we smile. So anything you do around a smile reverses the chemicals that are going off in your body. So it's turning off the feel-bad chemicals and turning on the feel-good chemicals. You can do that. Tapping. How many of you know about tapping? Tapping removes stress from the body. Use it and keep going. And, you know, Brad Yates has a fabulous website where there's over 70 5-minute tapping sequences. Just go on there. They're for free. Find one and tap and get on with it. Here's another strategy. Connect with your mentor. If you get a no and you feel a little bit knocked around, connect with your mentor and do a 5-minute debrief and keep going. And remember, it doesn't mean anything about you, but the pain that you feel or the discomfort is because you've made it mean something about you. That's where the feeling comes from. You've given it a meaning, and the meaning's all made up. So if it's all made up, you might as well make up something extraordinary. That makes sense? Yeah. All right. Now, so what if you get a no? Honor the no. By honoring the no, you're also honoring the relationship, and that is commitment versus attachment. Commitment is you sharing the gift versus, am I going to get another associate out of this conversation? That's attachment. If you're attached, you'll reek of attachment, and people don't hear you from a genuine place. They hear you from that attachment rather than your commitment. Okay, so if you get a no, great. Turn it into an empowering context, leaving them and you empowered. Because do you know what? Down the track, things can change for that person, and it can change for people really quickly. And the person that you want them to think about is you. You want them to come back to you and go, you know what? I think I need to know more about those molecules. You don't want them feeling like they were disempowered in their experience with you. So you have it be empowering for them. And this is just an example of something you could say, like, thanks. Thanks, Carolyn. I really appreciate your investment of time and listening today. And I get that it's not for you right now. Now, you want to be really authentic when you say that, because when you're authentic, you're actually honoring the relationship with that person. Most important. And, you know, if it feels right for you, you could continue on. It could be you finish there. That's it. But, you know, you're going to have to make a judgment call on this. If it feels right for you, you could say and continue on. Now, look, here's a suggestion. What I would love to do, if it works for you, is to add you to a Facebook group where people share their experiences with the Redox products, because you never know down the track who you might meet that you can help through knowing this information. So it's not, when you're talking to one person, it's not about talking to one person. It's talking about to everybody they know. So you actually could be talking to 100 people or more. You know, when I do a presentation to 30 people in a room, I'm not talking to 30 people. I'm talking to hundreds of people. I want them to think about who do they know in their life that this could make a difference to. All right? And it's the same when you're doing a one-on-one. Well, here's a few of the legends and the greats. What if no had stopped them? Now, there's heaps and heaps of these people. I just listed a few here today. But the one that always gets my attention, the last one I've listed, 2 years driving across USA with his chicken recipe. He was turned down 1,009 times. I'm just going to repeat that. 1,009 times. But he never gave up. And on that 1,010th time, somebody listened to him and embraced what it was that he had a vision and a passion for. Right? So we all know the end result of that and how successful that was. For him, you know, it's not my thing, but it's a thing for a lot of people. But great story here. The thing to know is there's always someone waiting to hear your story. So I hope by now tonight that you've actually come to realise that it's only your crazy fear of hearing the word no that stands between you and greatness. So be bold, be courageous. You have nothing to lose and your dreams are waiting. Don't let no stand between you and your dreams. So I'm just going to open it up for questions or comments. I'll just stop the share here. You know, it could be that you want to share something that you related to during the presentation where you got present to no getting in the way for you. Who's got something they'd like to share or a question? And I'll just check the chat box, see if there's anything going on in there, but it doesn't look like it. No, you're all very quiet tonight.
Yeah, I'll share, Janene. I've found that at different times I've been procrastinating, and the tapping has been a wonderful support to change that.
Yep.
And another time after being on a call with a different group, I was challenged in myself about being seen. So I tapped around that, and it really took all of that anxiety right down. So I do love the tapping.
The tapping works. I mean, it's an extraordinary technique. You know, whether you believe it or not, it works. The thing is, it only works if you do it, right? And I'm so glad you shared that. I know the power of tapping. I tend to use it in a crisis, but you know what? those crises were real for me, and yeah, they literally saved my life in a perceived way. But I got stuck. I've got a fear of heights. I got stuck on a big temple in Mexico once. I thought, I can't get off this. They're going to have to fly a helicopter in. I thought, oh my God. Anyway, I tapped and got down off this huge pyramid. It was a pyramid. But yeah, I use it before a presentation. I use it when I notice I'm procrastinating, and it really does tap out, because you hold the fear. It runs through your electromagnetic system, your meridians. And when you tap, you actually release that fear. So yeah, thanks, Deb, for sharing that. It's a very powerful technique.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, for those of you who've never heard of it, go to Brad Yates' website and have a look. Might be a bit crazy for you, but it works. Sometimes the crazy things are the best, because, you know, having a lot of fear drives you crazy as well. Anyone else got anything they want to share about that? Barbara.
Janene, I shared this on the RI training yesterday, but there's a few people on tonight.
Yeah, sorry, Barbara, can I just ask you to speak up just a little bit?
Sorry, I shared this last night on the RI training, but I'll share it again tonight, because I just read Go for No over the weekend. It's a great little book. And the thing that really struck me, because I've been battling a little bit, the thing that struck me the most is that little sentence that you said on your presentation tonight, and that he says in the book, that you have a preconceived idea of what other people are, of what you're prepared to spend, and you set that limit for other people.
Yep.
And I didn't realize that I was doing that. And as soon as I read that sentence, it just really hit me. That's exactly what I'm doing. And I was speaking to David Penrose about it, and he's on the call tonight, and he was saying that does show when you're doing your presentations to people, when you're talking to people. And I don't know how quite to get rid of that just yet, because I know that that's probably going to always be with me, but maybe the tapping will help me do that. But that really resonated with me, that if you're not prepared, if you don't spend a lot of money, you're not going to expect other people to. You've got to get over that, because everyone's different.
Well, exactly, because you start projecting your own pocket onto other people. And you know what? The fact that you just know now that happens, that's enough for you to stop it.
Yeah, I hope so.
So, of course, you know, going for a no in our business, the classic would be, is like I said, the example I gave is where you start at the entrepreneurial pack and work down. Get the no. That's fine. Look, we've had people who are just personal users buy an entrepreneur pack.
Wow.
We don't know who that is, and they won't know unless you offer it to them. Like, play the game of going for no, and that'd be great for you to do that, Barbara. Now, if you notice a bit of apprehension there, it's just because you're giving it meaning about what are they going to think of you for offering that, because that's based on your values around your spending, and that's all it is. So I'm not saying that the discomfort won't be there. It's a bit like, feel the discomfort, acknowledge the discomfort, and do it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? It's, you know, when you acknowledge a discomfort and do it anyway, it gets easier. So you just got to practice it.
Will do.
Yeah. Fantastic. Because you'll be thinking, oh my God, they'll think I'm crazy offering that. But just drop that, let go, notice it, observe it, and just let it go. Yeah. So does anyone else relate to that you actually will only put in front of people what your ceiling or your barrier is to your spending? You know, you do that with others, yeah? Okay, now, like I said, it doesn't go away. You just don't do it anymore. Just stop it. Yeah, stop it, you know. Okay, great share. Thanks, Barbara. Anybody else? Anyone else want to share anything? Got any insights? Can anybody see where they've been doing something that out of tonight's training, they're like, they've got something now to work with? No. We're all shy tonight.
No,
Here we go. Stewie. What's there for you, Stuart?
Oh, so I'm unmuted. So, look, I think I always have preconceived ideas with how much people are going to spend.
Yep.
And just reversing that, that's what I do every single time, because my my tone of voice, my body language, I feel uncomfortable. And that's probably, you know what, that's probably one of the biggest things of why I don't contact people. I don't call people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in my own way. So I've got to read this book.
Yeah, and look, it's a little out of date. It was written in the 60s, but you know what? I mean, I read it and I kind of modernized it a bit, but you know, you'll see the theme running there that you can actually use. It's got a lot of use and practicality in what we do every day in our business. So yeah, definitely read it. And what I loved is it's a fairly quick read. Yeah, because I think, oh, God, you know, I've got to read a book. But guess what? I got through it pretty fast. I like this. Bob says, yep, shoot for the stars, or, you know, shoot for the moon. And, you know, if you fall short, you're going to land amongst the stars. Seriously, I really invite you guys to go for the entrepreneur pack, just as, you know, something to just play with and take away from this training, and be really interested in getting some feedback from you. You're never going to get people choose it because you don't offer it. And that was the big thing, the big lesson that the author got very early in his career, was that he didn't offer above a certain amount. You know, so he got that he needs to keep offering until he gets a no. Right? So we could do it in reverse. Start at the top and get the no and work down. Perfect practice for you all. Yeah. What else have we got here? Yes. Yeah, you can find Brad Yates on Facebook. He's got lots of tapping there too. And yes, okay. Well, listen, that's awesome. How's that? We've cracked it. It's half an hour, 31 minutes. Thank you, Margot. Thank you so much for being here. But what I do want to announce before I go is that next Tuesday night, the training is on the power of the tools with Julie Opperman, and I'll be interviewing her. And one of the reasons I've asked Jules to come on and have this interview is Jules has built a business to gold while working full-time, while also doing a lot of personal development, and she had a daughter in year 12 last year. And I really want to explode the myth of I don't have time to build this business, because some of you on this call tonight will be working and you've got children and you blah. And this whole thing, I don't have a time, is just a story and a racket. Now that's fine if you want to stay with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Your life will go on just the way it is. You've heard that before, haven't you? For those who are doing the training at the moment with the RI training, and nothing wrong with that. But you know what? If you can create an extraordinary life by dropping this story that you don't have time. So I've asked Jules to come on, and she will share with you very beautifully and eloquently just what she consistently did. It's just about consistent behavior. There's no magic to it. So I've asked her to come forth and share with you all. So it'd be a great call to be on. If you've got any associates or even product users who would love to build the business. I mean, I had someone call me tonight and go, oh, I'm a school teacher. I'd really like to do it. I love the product. I believe in it, but I don't have time. And yes, she's got one child and she works 3 days a week. I go, are you kidding? You've got plenty of time. Be on the call next week. Because, people perceive it requires a lot more time. We've got fabulous tools. That's where you create your leverage, doing it simply, sharing a tool. You don't have to put a lot of time in. You've just got to, it's the right business activities to get your result. All right. So I look forward to seeing you all next Tuesday night. And, of course, for those of you who want to hear the Redox experience, be back on same channel, same station at 8 o'clock. So just in half an hour time to go and get a cup of tea or do whatever you need to do. And we'll see you again at 8. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Thanks, Janene.
Pleasure.
Great job.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Great job, Janene. Fantastic.
Stop recording too, Janene.
I know it'll just stop recording when I end the
All right,
meeting.
I love. All right.
Yeah, it's going to the cloud, but thanks for that.
That's all right. Sorry.
No worries. Thanks, Jules. I appreciate that. Bye.
Bye. Bye.